Due to popular request, I'll be doing a tactical analysis on Barcelona's women's team by looking at their possession tactics as well as their defensive tactics. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing for weekly Barcelona content, and I'll also be linking a Facebook page down below where we could have discussions during games and after games. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into their defensive structure, which is actually one of their strong points. As expected, Barcelona's women's team has an extremely high press as they are trying to win the ball as far up the pitch as they possibly could. However, the key to their defensive solidity is actually the fact that when they lose the ball, they immediately try to get it back, as they have one of the lowest passes per defensive actions going on in the league, and they actually try to attack immediately when they win it back. However, this team is not scared to allow the opposition centre backs, depending on who they play, to have the ball, as they sit right in front of them, as they make a lot of passes between them. Barcelona just focusing on cutting down the middle, not allowing any central progression whatsoever. However, tactical fluidity is the name of the game, as they change their structure depending on who they play. For example, against Valencia, they had a front two where Alexia and Bonmati was trying to get them on one side to actually change the opposition's possession, because Valencia is decent. However, when they recovered the ball, they actually tried to attack the ball immediately, trying to get into the opposition's box to actually capitalize on their mistakes that they make. But that is all you have to know about the defensive structure. The women's teams also come out just like the men's team, where they try to draw the opposition into a press, and they are also really encouraged to play around the press by knocking the ball around until the opposition actually stands still. Then they would start their build-up to either side or to the middle. Once the opposition is still, then they continue their build-up play. And should the opposition not press at all, they come out in a normal back four. But we also see, just like the men's team, this do morph into a 2-3-5 formation, with the fullback being inverted, or you get the free edge deep and the fullbacks keeping the width. One huge difference that you see from the women's team towards the men's team is that the players are encouraged to keep the ball for longer, being press resistant while knocking it around. Another huge difference is that the women, when under pressure, are actually encouraged to keep the ball for a little bit longer, trying to be press resistant. Then you would see third man runs and balls being played long, loaded off, and then the third man runs, and then Barcelona on the counter. The Tiki Taka for the women's team really comes to life when they are in the final third, the knocking around, and it's actually Alexia, Putellas and Pina that are always trying to keep these triangles. As you would see, they would make third man runs, fullbacks invert, and then you would see Pina and Bonmati, the winger, fullback and midfielder, create these triangles for the women's team. This is actually connected also, like I said, by Alexia, Putellas. The men's team actually has the same principles, however we see a lack of movement from the men's team. That is why our triangles that we have with the men's team are not as effective as the women actually have their triangles. Unlike the men's team, where the triangles are mostly on the wings, you actually see the pivot, fullback and the false nine, Alexia, Putellas, also create these triangles in central areas. Look at the third man run that's now being done by the fullback into that area right there. So differences, small differences. Just like the men's team this season, the women's team is not scared to actually play direct football, as the opposition has a high line. They don't mind playing the ball in behind to get up the pitch. And this is something that Xavi really needs to look at. However, the women's team actually have great wingers and good wingers that makes runs in behind. And we sometimes have only one wing on the right side. But the women's team are not scared to be direct. But let's take a look at Alexia, Putellas and Bonmati to see how important these two ladies are. And let's start off actually with Alexia, Putellas. Alexia this season has been used as a false nine, as she would drop into the midfield to get on the ball or at least be an option. If I could compare her to a male football player, it would be Thomas Müller, as she has been tasked to actually find space anywhere she can get, especially in the back line. She would drop onto the shoulder of the defender and she would run into that space that is vacated. Also, the triangles I've been mentioning previously, as her movement is really impeccable, as she moves onto the edge of the box to get a triangle with Caldente and Lucy Bronze. This really allowed Barcelona to actually retain the ball possession and actually move the ball around, key position, while actually being a threat as well. Also in the build-up phase, we do see that Alexia is also being offered as a target man or a false nine in this position. But her ball control is so impeccable, so it's really a safe option. She rarely loses the ball, which is what we cannot say about the men's team actually. And also Alexia is not scared to be a target inside the box, pinging the ball up in the air, and she will get at the end of it. So that is Alexia Putellas for you. She's really going to excel in this position, and actually it is the same way that Pep Guardiola used Lionel Messi. So let's see what Bonmati is really great at in this team. Bonmati is actually one of the most elegant players men and women's football has ever seen, as she likes to run in behind and she's like the Xavi of the women's football game. She's actually one of the most technically gifted footballers Barcelona has ever seen, and she is very important when it comes to those kind of triangles that I've been talking about. She's really a master when it comes to occupying that half space, helping the fullback and the winger to actually create these triangles. If Alexia goes to the left or the right side of Barcelona, she comes to the left. So she's equally important as Alexia Putellas. She's also really immaculate at receiving the ball under pressure and having to dribble, even if it's on the edge of the box. She do what has to be done, and she's technically gifted like I said. Another thing that has really seen Aitana Bonmati excel this season is her late entries into the box. If Alexia Putellas actually vacate that position, she's more than willing to run into it. And this is what it means to be a Barcelona midfielder, a free 8, where she occupies the half space but not scared to run into that striker positions. I think the biggest difference between the men's and the women's team is that the women actually has a set plan, and they have all the players that they need for this to actually happen for them. However, with the men's team, we have too many different players who are not really technical on the ball. We only have Pedri and Gundogan pretty much fit for the Barcelona style. But let me know down below, what do you guys think? If you're new around here, please do subscribe to the channel, as that will be helping us a lot to get the channel to grow more. We upload 3 times a week, and we do tactical analysis on each Barcelona game. I just wanted to reiterate the link in the description to my Facebook page. As you can see, it's really grown over the last 2 years, and I want it to grow bigger and more, for actually to have more discussions about the team, during games, after games, and it's going to be easier for me to actually answer a lot of questions and have discussions with you guys. So please do go and like and follow the page, as it will be helping us to communicate a lot better. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.